come back.
You actually catered for my 30th birthday party, which was
a couple of years ago.
More than a decade. Yeah, just a couple of years ago. Thank you, Steve. What a gentleman.
I would love to say there was great wisdom in how we got involved with event catering. The truth was it was out of necessity at the beginning in terms of that we were trying to value add and make, that was the way that I established as giving us the greatest return for what limited meat we had at that stage. As we did that, we also learned that it wasn't just about potentially making more profit on that from that specific animal, but also a really good marketing opportunity and a great way for us to showcase ourselves and get more people to try our products and become familiar with our brand and stuff. So we look at the catering not just as the fact that we want to run a profitable business, but also we do see it as part of our marketing strategy.
Yeah, I understand completely, because everybody who comes along and sees the Buffalo Farm branding and understands who you are and the authenticity of what you do is then hopefully going to become a long-term customer.
Yeah, and I hope that there's maybe two sides to that. So if I was an event organiser like the Highland Show, etc., they look at that and think, well, it's quite a good idea to have this guy. One, he's got food with a bit of a story, but also, we're going to really look after the customer on the day, because we're hoping that they're going to become customers for our online or visit our shops, So that's certainly the point I try to put across. If there's any event organisers listening, that's always that's my pitch.
Having said all that, why do you think it is so important then that the Highland Show presents this pinnacle of quality produce to the consumer?
It's just our chance to let the general public see what, I class myself as part of the agricultural industry and what, I've been involved with this farming life, and it really demonstrates the diverseness of our agricultural industry and the fact that there is, there's so many different styles of businesses out there, and I think that's good for the general public to sort of realise. I talk a lot about food not only having to taste good and be tender and all that, but actually people are enjoying actually talking about their food and getting a sense of where it's from and that person or the people behind producing that brings an extra layer of satisfaction to that enjoyment,
The story is key, and people, particularly at the moment, which we'll come on to, people are really supportive of and interested and place great importance on the provenance and the story behind what they're eating.
Yeah, we hope so, and it's certainly what we've kind of built our business around is that and in creating that story. And I have to be honest, at times we're getting closer, but so far my farm has never been profitable. The actual farming part of what we do, we've had to go out and do these things to find the profit, and to make it sustainable. But if you were to look at my business just as from an accountancy point of view, you would say you'd be better off not farming these, buying them in and doing this and doing that. But we could never do that, because then we lost our story, and the story is so important to my customers and myself. That we are genuine about what we produce and how we go about it.
Now you obviously have a shop as well, so you'll be retailing other products that don't fit within the meat sector. So presumably oat cakes, vegetables, things like that. So thinking from a wider sort of food and drink industry perspective, what impact do you think the Highland Show has on that and the quality of our produce? Is that the turkey in the background?
It is, yes. It's one of our
brilliant
Bog Lily mascots here. Our talking turkeys.
Oh, I love it.
And also a delivery lorry coming in. So there's all happening here in the car park.
It's good. We wanted lots of activity, so we've got it. That's brilliant. Thinking about the wider industry, so whether it be oat cakes or cheese or soft fruits, how do you think the Highland Show benefits the wider food and drink industry in Scotland and its reputation? Well,
it's a fantastic platform. There's just so much, I would say food is a huge percentage of what attracts me to the show. You're able to go, it's a great springboard for new businesses to taste and really look your customer in the face and see what their reactions are to certain products.
Yeah.
That kind of on the spot feedback is really critical when you're developing products and you're wanting to see what's working and what, you know, so it's a great opportunity for you to do that. And to the one that jumps out at me from the last Highland Show is the broccoli crisps, you know, and that
yes, they're brilliant,
absolutely delicious. And you know, that's was a business there that was taking an opportunity to come and hand out a lot of samples but get a lot of feedback, and then that filters down the food chain, because we now sell these crisps in our farm shop, and the people, you know, have been familiar with it and they've done the marketing. So it's giving a roadmap for these new startups and different things that they can really go and there's a lot of buyers appear at these things as well. You know, we've made a lot of connections, different people, you know, that they are all there. You know, if you've got a good product, the buyers will suss you out, and it's a great platform for that, you know.
For them to find you.
For them to find you or become aware of you, and then you're on their radar. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the Highland Show has become our most important event weekend of the year. It's unrivaled for us in terms of the fact that it's 4 days, very consistent days, busy from morning till tea time, and you know, every year we meet new people who become fans of the Buffalo Farm and what we do, and I think that no other event are they so interested. There's so many questions, and it's this huge booster, or kind of, I guess, my ego to an extent, because there's a lot of genuine interest and want of information, and that means a lot to me that people care, and I think a lot of people care at the Highland Show, and it motivates me to go on and keep trying to improve our business.
Well, you're a busy man, Steve. So what I think is my final question.
Okay.
You touched earlier on about, you know, developing your business. Now, in the last 12 or so weeks, you have had to develop your business probably in a way that you weren't anticipating. Can you tell us a little bit about how COVID-19's impacted on you and some of the things that you'll be doing instead of the events that you would like the Highland Show, that you would normally be at?
Well, yeah, I mean, when it all unravelled, I very much, like many people, really feared for our future. You know, we were basically, the day of lockdown was the day we were meant to start construction of our mozzarella factory, and you know, I'd already seen the Highland Show cancelled and the Fife Show cancelled and a great many other events that we were going to be going to, and as I said in the start of this, the events side has always been the most profitable side of our business, so it really concerned me. But we are actually a very positive story from COVID. We were fortunate. The traffic on our website, I think, is something like 600% more than it was when pre-COVID.
My word.
The truth is, our business is busier than it's ever been right now. We've not furloughed anybody. They've all been redeployed into helping out the butchers, into getting these orders out, and the staff have been incredibly supportive of the business and done what was needed to kind of. So they've been willing to be flexible, and we've ended up with a back shift and a night shift and a day shift. So we're keeping them apart, and we're kind of trying to do the social distancing.
Yes.
But
gosh, wow.
All of a sudden, we're because we're all focused on one thing, our throughput's gone up, and we've actually ended up having to employ. So we've over this period ended up taking on an additional 16 members of staff.
Goodness me!
Crazy. So I got a real fright when we counted up the numbers of this new rota system we're working, and realised that we've got 62 staff working within the Buffalo Farm now.
My goodness.
So it's come a long way since I was cooking at your 30th birthday a couple of years ago.
It certainly has. It's a couple of years ago. Yeah, you move fast, Steve.
Really
just
fast,
like my age
really
moves
fast.
slow.
The big thing is people are just actually getting really excited about cooking food again, and I really hope. I don't want to sound, we have been really lucky, but I'm really aware and care about a lot of businesses that are finding this whole situation absolutely terrible, and I totally get that. But for us, if we can see a positive, is that I've never seen people taking such a pride in their cooking, and our Facebook is littered with photographs and recipes of what they've been getting up to at home, and it's really uplifting to see that. Hopefully, and I do sense from listening to the customers that they've realised it's actually so much nicer, and it's cooking maybe doesn't actually take as much time as they thought, and it's actually quite satisfying, and the family it's healthier, and they see what's all going into their dishes. So yeah, if the legacy can be that, I'll be really, really happy, you know.
Fabulous. There's only one thing that's worrying me though, Steve. If you've had such great success with the retail home deliveries market, I hope you will still be back at the Highland Show next year to give me a burger.
I'm hoping I'm back I'm hoping I'm going to be coming back, and I'm going to be the new boy in the food hall with my mozzarella. That's what I'm really hoping.
Good. Many, many thanks to Steve at the Buffalo Farm. It's great to hear those outdoor sounds, especially the turkey. And good luck, really good luck to him getting his mozzarella enterprise started. I really can't wait to taste it. Steve talked about the importance of his brand story to connect with consumers, and I think that's really, really important here. The Highland Show is a place to shout about those stories. Why is it so important? We're going to go back now to Wendy and Charlotte.
It's absolutely vital. The story of food is always it's always a vital part of our physical experience of it. It gives greater meaning to it. It makes it more pleasurable. But I think particularly now, in the time that we're living in, the story of food and meeting the producer, really getting an understanding of how they produce the food, how food is prepared. This is something that people really crave nowadays as our lives become more and more distant from the places where food is produced. Even in Scotland, which is predominantly rural country, the majority of us are actually vastly distanced from the reality of food production. And I think places like the Royal Highland Show, country shows in general, it's becoming an increasingly vital way for people to have that direct connection, to actually see the faces and the hands that are responsible for producing their food, as well as the individual nutrients that go into food. The way that food nourishes us is in the story that we consume along with the food. It can transform what might be a very, balanced meal into something that really makes you happy. And it has been shown over and over and over again that our health and our well-being is, yes, it's, to do with exercise and the nutrients that you consume, but it's also to do with your mental and emotional state. And food has an amazing ability to transform your emotional state from being whatever into really, really happy, feeling comforted, feeling connected, feeling a sense of conviviality with the people you're eating with, or if you're not able to eat with somebody because you're isolating, at least some sense of connection to the people who brought that food to you.
Yeah, wow. Yes, that was a pretty comprehensive summary, and I agree with every word. Wendy, I noticed you were kind of nodding in agreement on our Zoom call there. Have you got anything to add to that, do you think?
No, I do agree entirely. I also would like to add that from a nutrition point of view, I think there's been quite a lot of raised awareness that we're in a better shape to fight off viruses if we are well nourished on good food. And so I think people have been reevaluating some of the proverbial in their diet, and realizing that in the process of cooking more, they're using less processed foods, which all ties in very nicely to the Scottish food and farming sector and food producers, because we are what we eat.
And interestingly, when we did the very first episode of this podcast with the Highland Society, Alan Laidlaw, who's the chief executive, said that people are engaging with local producers and local food more since COVID-19 than perhaps they ever have in the last 30 years. There's this hunger, excuse the pun, for local quality artisan produce. And part of it is no doubt the fact that, we're constrained. We can't go to the shops any longer, and we need and want delivery. But part of it is about feeling that camaraderie and that we're all in this together and we all want to support local business. Wendy, I know you were telling me earlier that the way in which you and some of the other chefs, like Neil Forbes, for example, who do demonstrations at the Cookery Theatre, have had to find new ways of doing things since lockdown. Can you tell me a bit about what some of you have been up to?
Yes, well, both Neil and I and a few of the others are Slow Food Chefs Alliance, Cooks Alliance members. So with our sort of Slow Food hat, we've been asked to do some video clips for cooking. And right now I should be at a conference in Galway, which